Coming up from the 7th Masters of the FIBA 3x3 World Tour 2019 season in front of the iconic Reformed Great Church of Debrecen, Hungary. We hook up with Mr. Nice, Dominique Gentil, who once again proved that he was nice everywhere except on the court. You enjoyed Disco Damo Jones' MVP performance in Lausanne, right? Well, we sat down with him too. And last but not least, Khalid Abdel-Gabbar introduces us to Jeddah, who are making their World Tour debut in Debrecen. Plus, stay tuned to the end of the magazine for the top 5 plays of the tourney. It's quick, it's epic, it's Olympic. Welcome to the world of FIBA 3x3 basketball, a game played with non-stop music on a half court between 2 teams of 3 players aiming to hit 21 points before 10 minutes of game time. Previously, at the FIBA 3x3 World Tour, New York Harlem finally ended a 3-year U.S. curse on the World Tour by winning the Lausanne Masters, with more drama than the second season of Manhunter. And just 3 days after Switzerland, New York Harlem and 9 of the top 11 teams in the world came to Debrecen for a star-studded Masters that had the looks of a final. So who's gonna cash in the $30,000 in Hungary? We're about to find out. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I am not a morning person, which means I would have been a total liability in the qualifying draw. It was only 10:30 a.m. when World Tour rookies Jeddah upset the number 10 seed Lausanne. The team from Saudi Arabia got W number 2 and punched their ticket to the main draw, together with Nant Amsterdam, who finished the qualifying draw in style with Dominique Gentil's Yanni. I ain't gonna lie, Jeddah were not your usual newcomers. They featured 3 players who competed at the World Tour in the past and put the 3x3 World Tour on notice by winning the Chongqing Challenger a week earlier. But the game against the number 3 team in the world, Liman, looked more complex than a German Netflix show. And yet Jeddah stayed in the game thanks to Kevin Kor's domination in the paint. Khalid Abdel-Gabbar finished the job in the money time with a big swat and a tough contested drive. And oh, the Saudi team, they weren't even done yet. For their 4th game in 6 hours, Jeddah sent Princeton back to campus. The U.S. team, who had reached the final of the last 2 Masters, made the score somewhat respectable in the closing seconds, but were down 19-8 at some point. Total domination. The qualifying draw teams weren't afraid of the high seeds in this one, and Nant Amsterdam pushed the 4th team in the world, Peter, to overtime. The French squad suffered one of the most shocking overtime losses in recent memory at the Lausanne Masters, so their confidence level was lower than sea level. But Mr. Nice launched an arrow from the neighbor's garden and politely sent Piran back to Slovenia on a Tissot buzzer beater. So that's Piran, Princeton, and add a 3rd upset in the pool phase with Edmonton's elimination in pool play after back-to-back defeats against Novi Sad and Gagarin. In the meantime, Novi Sad and New York Harlem both completed a perfect on day 1. Riga Ghetto also remained undefeated after their star player Carlos Las Manas went Super Saiyan mode. The 25-year-old scored an insane 15 points in the win against the local team Debrecen, and naturally was the leading scorer at the end of the pool phase. It was a dramatic opening day for the countless Hungarian fans. For the first time ever, both qualifying draw teams make it to the quarterfinals, and it's goodbye to Debrecen and 3 of the top 8 seeds, including Saskatoon Masters winners Peter. He says he's nice everywhere except on the court. French international Dominique Gentil, aka Mr. Nice, is one of the most respected players on the tour. Proof is he got a very special offer earlier this season.
I don't know if I have to talk about it, but yes, one day Maestro texted me. It was 2-3 months ago. Like the #1 team in the world called me to play with them. It was like just, for me, unbelievable. I'm a humble guy, so for me, I'm just the guy who come for play 3-on-3 and give 100% every time, everywhere, you know. I keep in my head that one day I can go play with some guy from everywhere. For me, I'm not gonna say a dream, but I'm thinking about it.
Gentil had a sensational rookie effort at the Debrecen Masters 3 years ago. Quite simply, the best ever performance by a French team on the World Tour.
It was like amazing for me. First master, going to the final, it was crazy. I was the youngest guy in that team with Angelo and Bonchard, and now I'm the oldest.
Mr. Nice joined Nantes this season and immediately found success with wins at the Romanian Quest, Open de France, and a second-place finish at the Ekaterinburg Challenge.
My role totally changed. Exactly, I am the guy you have to say, guys, tonight we have to sleep soon, we don't have to go out, we have to drink water. For me, it's like natural because I'm like that. In my life, I'm like, when I have to joke and take a good time, I'm taking it 100%. But when I have to be serious, I'm serious 100%.
Gentil was up to an extended stay in Hungary with Debrecen hosting an unprecedented 5 3x3 events in 1 week, including a women's series stop, the Debrecen Masters, and the FIBA 3x3 Europe Cup. The brother of a Taekwondo Olympic medalist, Gentil says some of his best experiences came playing 3x3, representing his country at the World Cup back in 2017 in Nantes.
I think it was my best 3x3 experience. Because first I was playing for the French nation and I love my country. And second of all, it was my first World Cup and we reached to the bronze medal with my friend Angelo and Bonchard. It was just amazing. Basketball is my passion, so every time I go on the court, when I leave the court, it's gonna be a good memory, whatever happened.
All right, here's a look at the quarterfinal bracket with a crazy Serbian classic and 2 qualifying draw teams challenging Riga and Gagarin. Liman and Novi Sad were meeting again in Debrecen 2 years after producing one of the most crazy games of World Tour history. This said, Liman did not look their best on day 1 without their star player Stefan Stojic and were already trailing 5-1 after 2 minutes. But little by little, the #3 team in the world bridged the gap, and with 2:30 to go, Maxim Kovacevic hit 2 free throws to give Liman their first lead of the game. The Maestro started a concerto from outside the arc, but Kovacevic replied immediately. Liman were playing great defense, and with the game tied at 17, Stefan Kojic stepped up with the drive to the rim and the dagger 2-pointer to knock out the #1 team in the world. The Debrecen Masters winners New York Harlem were up next against another Serbian team, Verbis. You expected another Disco Damo show in this one, but this game was all Joey King. The newest addition to the team may come from Minnesota, but he showed some New York City swag in this one. He scored in the post, splashed from outside, and protected the rim like he had a police uniform on. The 25-year-old led all scorers with 9 points. And yes, Disco Damo still delivered a few highlights, so here's a couple before you even ask.
Our goal as a group from Harlem is to take it 1 game at a time, and we made sure we didn't overlook anyone, and we took care of business in game 1.
The World Tour newcomers from Jeddah were bringing their 4-game win streak to the test against Gagarin. Fast forward 8 minutes and 30 seconds, and the game is still tied. That's when 28-year-old Nemanja Draskovic took the controller and flipped the switch for the Saudi. The Serbian star started with a nice hezzy reverse combo and then hit a tough shot with a Russian defender all over him. Draskovic finished the job with a long 2-piece that sent Gagarin back to earth. On their first participation, Jeddah somehow already earned a ticket to the semifinals.
You know, we just came with the same intensity that we have been throughout the 2 days. and we should be all right.
So how would the other qualifying draw team fare against Riga Ghetto, who already won 2 Masters this season? The Frenchman from Nantes Aderam made it a close game until Norris Miezes traded in his Robin uniform for a Batman suit and went back-to-back 2 pieces. Down 2014, the game seemed over for Nantes, but Dominique Gentil said no more Mr. Nice Guy. Dude hit a 2 with a hand all up in his face, then drove to the rim and hit another 2-piece, falling away to bring the game down to 1. He even had a shot to win the game. The heat check was over, and Carlos Lasmanis finally iced the game from the free throw line.
Thanks that they were tired and grabbed us and made a foul. So basically the strongest team win.
Disco Damo has been breaking ankles on the world tour. Problem is, he'd only show up once or twice a year like a married friend. For this reason, New York Harlem didn't make our list of teams most likely to win the world tour at the start of the season, a new source of motivation for the U.S. star.
I've been doing 3x3 for a few years now, and like I said, you see me once, 1, maybe 2 cities throughout that year, and come second place, third place, always perform, but always just fall short. But now, like I said, we definitely on the stage, and when we do the World Tour magazines and stuff like that, they talked about the Princetons, they talked about the Novi Sads, the Limans, the Rigas, and nobody mentioned Harlem like we haven't been here. Now we coming for everything. We need that respect. You're gonna respect us, you're gonna see us in these different places, and we're gonna put on every single time. So if you don't mention us, that's cool, but you'll mention us at the end.
Through the years, New York Harlem suffered some of the most heartbreaking losses in World Tour history. But the curse seemed to finally come to an end in Lausanne this year.
I'm a very competitive person, so those losses really, really hurt me. But that's the beauty of 3x3. You could beat a team by 11 points, then you could beat a team by 1, on any given day. So just having a game plan, a certain strategy, just to try to eliminate those mistakes, because it happens from time to time. It's basketball, that's the beauty of basketball as well. So we have that experience, we know what it's like to get hit by a buzzer beater and stuff like that. So now it's our turn to hit buzzer beaters on guys and win by 11 and win by 12 and not come in second place, not come in third place, and just be on that stage.
Before hitting that absolutely insane Tissot buzzer beater against Nantes, Damo had shot 1 for 8 behind the arc, and yet he didn't hesitate to pull the trigger. So we asked him where that confidence came from.
I am from Harlem. We breed that confidence in Harlem, so Harlem is everything. The confidence comes in the hard work. I wouldn't talk it if I didn't live it. We working on our bodies, just trying to be better. You got to be confident in the products you put out there. I'm not stepping on the court. I don't care who's number 1 or who's number 151. I don't think anybody's the best. But we all bleed, we tie shoes the same way. I'm in the gym every day. I put on for myself. I got a family back home. That I got to provide for. So I could be number 9 in the world right now, but in my mind, I'm number 1. So, and anybody that has something different, step on the court, and we'll find a way to figure that out for you.
The shootout contest, the moment we crowned the best sniper in the tournament. Dejan Majstorovic and Norris Miezes started things off with 7 and 8 points respectively, and the shootout record holder, Steve Sir from Edmonton, was next. The polite sniper splashed his first 4 shots, and his jumper got wetter by the 3rd rack, where he didn't even miss. Sir didn't top his own all-time mark of 17, but his 13 points were too much to handle for Jovan Antic. Steve Sir proves once again he's the purest shooter in the game and is your winner of the Debrecen Masters shootout contest. It was old school versus new school at the Debrecen dunk contest with 5-time World Tour dunk champ Rafał Lepek-Lipinski against new kid on the block, Peter Grabo-Grabowski from Poland, and World Tour rookie Roman Hashko from Ukraine. Sadly, Lepek wasn't 100% and missed his 3 attempts at a 720. So it was Grabo and Hashko who made it to the final. Hashko's second dunk in the first round was a dramatic Tetris dunk over two guys at the buzzer. Check out one more time how he clears these dudes with the right leg.
He does clear the second guy with the karate kick. What the?
Hashkov got a triple 10, and you know that doesn't happen too often with these not impressed judges. In the final, that 75-second shot clock got Hashkov more nervous than Butters in South Park. The Ukrainian got a 0 on his first two dunks, but did finish in style with a nice scorpion. This opened the door for Grabo to have a one-man show. For starters, the 21-year-old took off over a man standing on a chair. His follow-up was a sick, ridiculous elbow dunk off the bounce. Look at this man right here, honey dipping like Winnie the Pooh. Grabo was doing it for the gram. He finished things off with an unbelievable behind-the-back dunk off the catch that he did for the very first time ever in a dunk contest.
He goes behind the back like somebody you can't trust. Filthy finish.
3 weeks after Prague, Grabo wins his second dunk contest of the season and positions himself as one of the favorites to win the final in Japan. All right, it's time to address the elephant in the room. Who are these dudes from Team Jeddah? And in particular, who's that guy Khalid Abdel-Gabbar, who's been quietly lighting it up at the Debrecen Masters? Ask him where he's from, and you get a geography lesson.
My parents are from Sudan and Morocco. My dad, he decided to take the family to Saudi Arabia, where he started working. So that's where I was born. I was born in a city called Jubail. At the age of around 5 years old, I moved into Canada, where I currently live right now and where my family is.
Abdel-Gabbar's first experience playing 3x3 actually came last year already in a qualifier to the Limassol Challenger. The 28-year-old lost in the quarterfinals to Liman and immediately realized that the game was a whole different world.
I was just thinking, it's another tournament, and we didn't really prepare as much. We didn't run any plays or we didn't have any coaching. And it was just a complete shock because most of the teams, they've been playing it for years. It wasn't something that we can just go in there and freestyle. You actually had to have a game plan. But it was a good experience overall.
This year, Abdel-Gabbar joined the newly formed Team Jeddah, which also features a French, a Pole, and a Serb, all of them with World Tour experience. But the guy with the most experience has to be their coach, two-time World Tour winner Alice Kuntz, who transformed that team into a contender in just a few weeks.
Throughout each challenger, we've gotten better. The first challenger we played in Bucharest, Romania, we lost in the qualifying round. Second challenger, we lost third place in Ljubljana. And then finally, the third challenger, we finished first place. So in the short amount of time that we've been together, I feel like, we've shown some success. And, a lot of it is because of the coach. He has a good experience with 3x3. I think he just came with that approach, that right mindset, preparing for the games, seeing our strengths as a player and how he could fit those players together. It's exceptional as someone who's coaching to be able to do that in such a short time.
For the first time this season, the World Tour will travel to Saudi Arabia, and Abdel-Gabbar believes the Jeddah Masters will be a resounding success.
I think there's going to be a lot of supporters that are going to come out because it's not every day where they get to see, players from outside of the country coming to play. So, the fact you're going to see teams from Serbia, France, all over the world, it's a great opportunity for these locals to come out and just watch them play.
For the third time this season on the World Tour, Liman and New York Harlem meet again. Meanwhile, number 2 seed Riga Ghetto take on the World Tour rookies of Jeddah. New York Harlem were playing like it was their own backyard in Debrecen. Call it their Madison Square Garden. The Americans jumped to a 4-1 lead on Disco Damo's drive, but Liman were like Mondays. They kept coming back, sometimes by taking big gambles like passing on a guaranteed layup for an open 2. With the New Yorkers up 14-13, Disco Damo put on his dancing shoes, and it was panic at the disco. He collabed with Joey King on a sick, ridiculous pass, and then put Maxim Kovacevic to bed on a vicious crossover. And then New York Harlem didn't score again. Liman went on an 8-0 run, including 6 points from Stefan Kojic. The 27-year-old went bang-bang from long range and then finished on the teardrop. In less than a minute, the game flipped from a 3-point lead to a knockout loss. Welcome to the world of 3x3, baby.
We play so hard all this tournament. We never give up, and I'm proud of my team.
Could Jeddah pull off another upset? 3 minutes into the game, the Saudi team was up 1 after a Kevin Core layup. But Riga Ghetto finally brought Jeddah back to earth. The Latvians went on a 9-1 run that culminated with a lethal Carlos Lasmanis step back. The man, also known as Batman, threw his shuriken just before the buzzer, and his partner in crime, Robin, aka Norris Miezis, ended Jeddah's hopes from the corner. Riga Ghetto and Liman will meet in the final of the Debrecen Masters.
That's a new team which can compete with all highest level teams. Congrats to them. We have to watch after them.
Despite beating Novi Sad and New York Harlem back-to-back, Liman came to the final as the big underdog. Not only did they lose twice against Riga Ghetto this year at the World Tour, they also started the game with a sub after leading scorer Stefan Kojic felt discomfort in his Achilles after the semifinals. Yet and still, they took the best start, with Mr. Robot's last-minute sub, Maxim Kovacevic, scoring twice from behind the arc in 30 seconds. Down 10-5, Riga Ghetto didn't lose their composure and slowly bridged the gap. Carlos Lasmanis showed his class on a great drive, and Eggers Krumans brought the Latvians down 1 from the charity stripe. Without a sub, the Serbian team was breathing heavily and was trigger happy from beyond the arc. Kovacevic hit his third two-piece of the game near the Inlio logo, but had to be wrapped up like a Christmas gift after colliding with Krumans. Dude came back and immediately netted another, but Lasmanis countered with a 2 of his own. The score was 19-18, and the crowd was into it. Kovacevic wasn't even done yet. Catch, shoot, no hesitation, game over with.
This man has went absolutely bananas in Debrecen. Oh my goodness. He buries it, money in the grave.
Maxim just exploded. He was giving every bucket, and that's what we really needed in this game.
Maxim Kovacevic had 12 points in the final on 7 for 10 shooting, and Liman win their first Masters of the season. Stefan Kojic wins MVP for his performance on the entire tournament. The only consolation prize for Riga Ghetto? Carlos Lasmanis became the new #1 3x3 player in the world immediately after the event. We know it's your favorite portion of the magazine. Ain't no shame in it. Get ready for the top 5 plays of the Debrecen Masters. Starting things off, Zaire Carrington saying, "I started from the bottom, now I'm here." At number 4, Nemanja Draskovic shows our kind of tunnel vision with a bounce pass between the legs to an open Khalid Abdel-Gabbar. At number 3, Disco Damo is like Liam Neeson in Taken. He will look for you and he will find you.
Straight from the rucker. That man is ill with the pill.
Coming up next is Maxim Kovacevic's unconscious barrage of 2-pointers in the final, despite being wrapped up like a mummy.
With his head bandaged, it won't matter anyway. Who is this man?
And to finish things off at number 1, it's the return of the Disco Damo show. Damo holds the ball like a yo-yo and finishes solo over my high-low. That was loco.
Look at the double cross. I told you he ain't trustworthy.
After its 3 European dates, the World Tour returns to North America for its first ever trip to Montreal, Canada. Liman, New York Harlem, and Novi Sad will be among the favorites to win the 8th Masters of the season in Quebec. Remember, you can relive it with the hashtag 3x3WT on FIBA 3x3 social media channels on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.